affordable in this current dispensation. Now, I asked the question on social media. I asked the ladies, I asked them, what's the minimum amount that a man must earn in order to date them? Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not suggesting that men are the only ones who spend money in relationships. That is not true. I think we all know this. But we also know that in our society, predominantly men pursue women, and that activity of pursuit costs money. It does. It's not. I mean, no matter what you're doing, it costs money, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to fit into the life of another person, right? You're trying to fit into the lifestyle of another person. So depending on what that person's lifestyle is, it might cost you a certain amount to fit into it. Right? That's it. That's the theory. And based on that, we were asking ladies to explain to us how much it would cost. How much a person ought to be able to earn per month in order to fit into their lifestyles or to provide the lifestyle they expect. And they gave some very interesting answers, over 270 answers to that particular post on Facebook. We'll be sharing some of those answers and using that information to determine whether indeed you can afford a relationship in today's Ghana. Okay, then, listen, let's get started with this thing. But first, maybe we can share a few of the answers that we received to my question. Ray, I don't know if you're on our page. You should be able to see a bunch of the answers to the post that I put up.
Okay,
share
yes,
the post
certainly.
first.
Yes, so the post was, ladies, I have a question. How much, into bracket minimum, must a man earn in order to date you? No judgment, just here to learn. Mostly when he says that, doesn't mean it anyway. But the Akosia Aso and Ponsa says minimum 5K.
Okay.
Then Ismail said to Akosia, not bad. Then there was another one, but okay, I should skip to the main ones. Okay, yeah. Then, well, there is one from Mami AB, 10K. Is it a dollar sign I see there?
Yes.
Then there's per month,
$10,000
yes,
per month.
Hey.
Okay.
Wow, and that attracted a lot of comments anyway. And Francisca Ohinewa says 5,000 CDs will give me peace.
Okay.
Yes, that's Francisca. Then Efe Ando says 50,000. See, Efe Ando says $50,000 plus he must be a Boche in Francipim guy. Well done. Okay, let's move on. But well, the other one. Okay, I'm not supposed to comment on this one, so I'm just reading it.
Just read it.
Yeah. Well, this one says, Mary Apiaje, I don't need money from a man I'm dating. If he gives me something, it's pretty cool. But we are married. He can give me 2,000 monthly. It's okay. I think that's not a direct answer to the question, but it's also part of the general answers being shared there. Ikwadonko Konto says, isn't this peer pressure on some men? No income, no dates. Some of our brothers are lazy though, so I understand this. We need to put pressure on them sometimes to help them to grow and be fruitful. Personally, I believe relationship is 50-50. My monthly expenses is total of pounds 2,560, including a mortgage, so I definitely will marry a man who can afford at least half of this monthly expenses and still have a little to save up for hard days ahead. And 2,500 according to the exchange rate used for the business reviews, 14 times 5, right? 14.5
for pounds. Yeah, 14.5. Yeah,
2,500.5. Okay. Well, now the other message is that I should
very close to 50,000 CDs per month.
And Robbie Ami Mate says Kojo Yansen 3,000 and above, and that's what she says. And Ruthlin Akapam says 3,000 won't be bad. And there's another endorsement of the 3,000 there. Yes, I did not see Louisa Lai's entire message, but I think it is here. I don't know, but it doesn't quote an amount, but I think I can read it. To be honest, I go into a relationship never bothering at all what the gentleman earns. They must be in dignified labor, though. Dignified labor is the key word, and it's explained. The hands that do not work should not eat. And heck, I work and I can provide everything I need by myself and for myself. I should not be the responsibility of a man. All I've looked for in a relationship is decent companionship, period. if dude has a lot of cash, that would just be the bonus.
And this is Louise Alaye, right?
Yes.
So she obviously got the companionship plus the bonus.
Yeah, if
her husband.
I mean, clearly. So Grace Amma says, if he can afford his rent, healthcare, and transport, is enough to date him. As much as I wouldn't want to be a liability, he shouldn't either. And there is, okay, so Kojo Jansen, at least 3K a month is also there. That's the same Grace, actually. Now, if I read Abena Ghana, I would say with this economic crunch, 7K at least. However, he shouldn't have. If he doesn't have, I will not pass because of it. So 7K 7K cedis, I think so. Or I mean, perhaps quota dollars too. So last one, Winston. If we are upset, at least 3,000 cedis a month, at least, or 1,000 cedis a week. That's also being shared here.
Right.
Now, AC levels maybe 4,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so the average is somehow, you know.
So the smallest amount quoted by anyone under this post was 3,000 cedis.
The average is actually 3,000 cedis.
Okay, 3,000 cedis a month is what we are hearing as an average here. Or and by the way, this is minimum.
Minimum, yeah.
Okay. To put this in context, according to the Ghana Statistical Services, less than 13% of public sector workers earn 3,000 cedis or above. The remaining 87% earn less than 3,000 cedis. I would expect private sector to be comparable, right, to public sector. Okay, so you strike average, give or take, maybe about 15% of workers are earning 3,000 cedis or more.
Yeah.
The rest are below, right? And by the way, that's 15% of workers. I haven't added the non-workers.
Yeah.
Who obviously, if you are not working,
course.
then the expectation is you have no
By
income.
God's grace.
So what it means is that today's woman will only accept to date maximum 15% of today's Ghanaian man. That's interesting.
No romance
Without finance.
I see romance without finance is a nuisance.
Well, we've managed to hold on to Maps, the host of Cues and Lyrics, and we are hoping that she'll provide a very much needed feminine perspective to this conversation, because the question is simple: can the Ghanaian man afford a relationship today?
Can they, Kojo, Raymond, Winston? Can you guys afford a relationship?
Well, we're asking you, since 3K is the minimum.
So here, my thing is that, like, if you're going to date, you have to date within your bracket or higher, because there are certain things that I like to do, there are certain activities I like to do, there are certain restaurants I like to go to, and I can afford them myself, right? But obviously, if we're going to date, I would let you into my little corner, into my little lifestyle. So if I'm going to a certain restaurant and you say you can't afford it, what does that mean? That means it's either I have to now downgrade my lifestyle to make you comfortable, which is not going to be very nice, because now I'm going to have some sort of like, but this guy, he has come to my life to come and like mess me up. I'm used to a certain lifestyle, and now you're coming and you're telling me that you can't afford it. Yeah, there are certain days or certain months where it's like, Charlie, it's been a really tough month. I know you want to do A, B, and C, but this month, yeah, I can't. I can understand that. But you can't come and out of nowhere and come and disrupt my life all for the sake of love. That's all you've seen, fine babe, and now you want me to downgrade my lifestyle. It doesn't work like that. So can the Ghanaian man afford romance? It also depends what's this thing called, the income brackets you are in. They can, but you just need to see where you are and date according to your size. Don't date bigger than you, because otherwise we'll fight and it will be very upsetting. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a matter of brackets.
It's a matter
tax
of brackets. Yeah, your tax brackets. Yeah.
And I suppose this supports this whole higher department conversation that has started on social media. I don't know if you've noticed it, but somebody put up a post narrating a story she was told by a friend. A friend of hers started up a conversation with someone at work.
Okay.
But this friend, this lady, it describes herself as being in a higher department at work to the guy.
Okay.
And I think they started a conversation, and then the guy got home one evening and said, oh, he had to struggle through the rain or something to get home just so he could continue the conversation with his higher department friend.
Yeah.
And then he adds like some sort of quip that he hopes after that effort he has made, she will come home and cook for him.
Hey.
And the woman was extremely offended by this. And the person narrating the story was also offended on her behalf and kind of expected all those reading to take the same offense.
Yeah.
So what you are saying is that really the thing, it's about socio-economic class.
Yeah.
And every man should look for a woman in his class.
Yes, I agree. Yes, they should.
But since all the women are saying 3,000, it looks like all the women have set a class below which most men fall. Because don't forget, this 15% that are earning 3,000, most of them are probably married. Majority of them are probably married. So those who are actually available to date are even fewer.
They are.
And all the women have set 3,000 and above standard. So
Well, Kojo, you see, the thing is that you're making reference to public sector wages. And public sector employees are just about 700,000 Ghanaians. And about 350,000 of them being males. Some of whom are married. So there are those within the private sector. And so that's the reality. Within the public sector, people earn, some earn as low as 400 Ghana cedis. Some would earn 2,000, 2,005. I mean, about 80% will earn less than 3,000 according to the Ghana Statistical Service. No problem. But of course, MAP makes a very valid point. My brother, if you see her and you can afford, why not? If you cannot afford, love is not by force. Look for the one that you can afford. Why would you go and steal because you want to please a woman? No, don't do that. There's somebody.
I mean, in history, people have fought wars to please.
Oh yes, stop those ones.
Yes.
Today's wars are in the pocket.
Oh, I see.
See, for me, I've always been insisted that he who thinks of how life ought to be is on a path of destruction, but he who thinks of how life is on a path of preservation. So maybe your wife is there waiting for you. She accepts that debi. Explain to her, even in MAP's situation, sometimes you can actually explain to her. You can pretend to be a rich man who doesn't like flashy places. There could be understanding. You can say, "Oh, you fake it till you make it." But the reality is that if the lady says you can't afford me, my brother, look for the next person, because no matter what you do, there's a cost associated to dating.
But you are not just a student of accounting, but a practitioner of accounting. So you will understand what I'm about to say. This is about the standard that is being set. So if we are using my post as some sort of as representative as possible, snapshot of women's expectations, then it would suggest that the vast majority of women are setting a standard that can only be met by the smallest minority of men. So in reality, are we not going to experience a situation where if women are to keep up their standards, then they would end up competing for men?
Yeah, but that's life. We are competing.
Are women competing when they are turning down men left, right, and center for being in a lower department?
All right. For example, so there's this man, right? That we are all there. 5 ladies, right? Obviously, we're competing because he's looking at: is she fit? Is she intelligent? Will she cook well? Is it not a competition? So you as a woman also, you have to bring your best foot forward.
Which is what?
My best foot forward is that, listen, if you look at me and we go to your mother's house, your mother and your father, they'll be very pleased that you have brought a lady that looks like me. My friend, I may not know how to cook, but listen, I can speak the brofu that will get us the money so that we get a chef. What you say? So we're all competing. Like that one day we can't we're competing because there's another girl who looks like me, but for her she has a flatter stomach. Right? Is it not a competition?
So what you're saying then is that women would much rather keep the high standard and then compete for men that meet the standard.
I mean, it's not like we're competing, like deliberately competing, but it is what it is.
Kojo, you know,
it is what it is.
Let's say it. You know, I like to say things. I like to be very blunt to say things. The reality is that it gets to a point. Men will compete over women. Women will compete over men.
Yeah.
And the other reality, just want to be politically correct. It gets to a point in time that when reality sets in, or the majority of the women who are telling you $7,000, $5,000, $10,000, they'll be looking for a man with future. They'll tell you that, oh, if you have a bright future, no problem. If I talk to you and I realize that you have a good plan, or you can do things right in future, all of those things are there.
Yeah.
But in the interim, if you cannot afford, go with the one you can afford. But it gets to the time when reality also sets in. When reality sets in, you also begin to look for people with future. Again, that's the reality of life. There are people, I mean, I'm not going to use our father's example because that's too old now. You know, there are young men of today who, you know, met ladies without having anything. But the ladies could see that these guys had a very bright future.
Of course.
What they decided to do, I mean, because, and I've come across, I mean, I have a friend who met a lady who's so wealthy. She just liked the guy because he was well built.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. He didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was to please the woman. So the woman buys him a car, helps him to build a house.
These are exceptions, though.
Of course, to everyone there will be an exception, of course. And I've also come across other women who have said, if you don't have money, I am not going to date you. There are those also who say, oh, how about I use my connections
To sort you out.
to make you a better person.
Because-
And so today,
a richer person, not a better person.
a richer person. So today you've seen sometimes better to his money. So today, you know, we can, you know, in research you would bring the personal definition. Sometimes. But you see, the reality is that today a lot of people are marrying straight out of university. Yeah, it's not like you know. I left university after 10 years before getting married, but a lot of people are getting married, you know, 2 or 3 years after university because they probably can't afford it. Now, what these persons are doing is that while in university, when they think they want to get married, they move out of university, do their national service, they get a job if they're lucky, because in Ghana you will stay 10 years before you get a job. If they're lucky and they get a job, they start saving and then they settle down.
Yeah.
When they settle down, because of how, you know, unique their relationship is, they will be able to find a way around it. For those persons, they probably are saying, this is how I want to do it. So for me, I say that, look at it both sides. I've already made my position very clear. If you cannot afford, my friend, it's not by force.
So I'm very interested in something you said earlier. You said that for those women who are saying $3,000 and $10,000 and all of that, reality will set in. So that means that at the moment, reality hasn't set in. These women are being delusional.
Well, could you see, I made a point. I said it gets to a time when reality sets in. So when the reality sets in, this is it. If you still want to get
They
married,
are using market forces.
yes. So if you still want to get
the
married,
value of the product may depreciate with time. So if it depreciates with time, those same market forces that are at play, that actually set the value very high, may bring it down a little bit.
I want to
read
read one of the answers to you.
Yes.
Okay. This one was sent in by Ifia Afrakuma. She said you should be in a position to pay monthly care of 5,000 Ghana cedis minimum, plus extras like quarterly vacation, which includes plane tickets, accommodation and shopping. Yearly remittance minimum 120k for choosing to be my man. And into brackets she says just $10,000 per. So minimally you should be earning between 40k to 50k upwards. Mempe agrobia.
So my other question is that as the lady, do you earn that much? Like no, do you earn that much? Because we also have to meet each other at some sort of, you know, level. But like also I also encourage people, or actually I encourage ladies to date higher, you know, to date above. But it's also like you're looking for 40,000 Ghana cedis. How much are you earning? Because you can't say that you're looking for 40,000 Ghana cedis and you're earning like 5,000. I think that is very unfair. You understand? But also, Winston said something about like the settling, and you find out, oh, is he ambitious or something? Sometimes you look at a guy and he's like, okay, you know what? This guy gives me everything, except the money part, or he's not really financially great, but he's got ambition, and I see that there's something in him. So, is it that I want the money, or I will settle for this guy, because at the end of the day we want to spend our lives together. So is it okay, I can settle because like he's giving me more, you know? It's like, even if he's not giving the money, but he's giving me more. Because I've dated a guy who's like not earning very much, but I've also dated a really rich guy, but as much as that he's spending on you, you're not happy. You understand? But I'm happy with this guy because you know what? We have conversations where we can, even if we're not going to my restaurant in Labone, if we go to some restaurants, be here by Kukomemle, but we're having a really great conversation. But I'm also going to like Airport City with this rich guy, but we're not having a conversation. So now you have to weigh your options. Like, I want to spend the rest of my life with someone who's has a lot of money, or someone who's okay, but we have great conversations, and I can, so that's
you see the reality sometimes. You see, you know, so you get to appreciate how things work. Now, if it's all about my money, if it's my money, you must pamper me too. You don't know. Yes, because if I am paying everything, you must make me feel good.
You're buying a commodity.
So at that point in time, it becomes like you're providing a service to me. And if you're providing a service to me, it means I control you. Everything I say, you must do. But if it's a partnership, if we're in this together, okay? Because there are instances that, you know, sometimes you probably may think that life is all about money. You're working hard. And your wife is going to tell you, oh, baby, I understand that we need money, but sometimes it's good to spend time at home. That's the reality also. So when I say, oh, all of these people, you see, sometimes, you know, Facebook, people will put a lot of things there.
Of course.
They put a lot of things there. Some would mean it. But the market forces, at a point, we will look at you. You've heard of the famous, you know, there's this lady who said that, oh, she's young, she's this, so she needs a man who can afford $50,000, $100,000 a month. And an investment banker said, you know what, I'm not going to put $100,000 a month in you, because there'll be diminishing returns at a point in time. You're going to, today you say you're very young, beautiful. Tomorrow you'll be old.
Yeah.
At that point in time, what are you going to offer me in return? Because it's a service you're selling to me. Okay? So the moment you put, and that's the really, when you put a price to it, and okay, do I say this? Okay. Let me just say this. You know, when we are even doing,
Put a price to it.
you know, when we are even doing staff audit and everything, it gets to a point that the typical finance people will look at your age and your contribution, and they can tell that, look at this guy's age. He's how many years old? 50 something years. Or let's look at this guy. How long is he expected to stay with us? Look, he can go.
Yeah.
All of these things will come and play a role. So, you know, if you say everything is about money, you put a price to it. I also will put an expectation to it. If you don't meet the expectation, we don't have a deal. And that's the end of the world.
And another thing, things change. Life has a funny way of just like changing everything. So you're sitting with your lover, your partner, in your penthouse at Airport City, and then all of a sudden tomorrow something happens to him. He can't get his money. Like how is that going to be? Because you're like, oh, I married him. Yeah, I married him for love, for money and stuff like that. He loses everything. Now you guys don't even have a conversation. This guy that you are having a great conversation with, that is buying you kenke and 2 CDs fish, something might happen. He runs into luck and he gets money and he spoils you and you have a fantastic life. So at the end of the day, life has a very funny way of working out. So if you're going to say that, okay, because you can't afford me, I can't date you. Because you can't afford me, I can't have a conversation with you. You're going to have a very tough time, my sister. Like a very tough time. But you must also have standards at the same time, you know.
So where's the balance? Because look, I was deliberate in pushing people to give me figures
and minimum.
Okay, yes, and I said minimum. All right, because I wanted.
So that's the lowest standard.
Yes, the lower and the lowest standard they set was 3,000 cedis.
The lowest they set is the earnings of less than 20% of public sector.
This is my point. This is my point. Okay, this is my point. So the lowest standard that the average woman is setting for someone to date them is met by the minimum amount of eligible men.
So the problem is the public sector.
It's the problem.
The problem is the public sector. We need to fix the public sector. If we're being honest, we need to fix the public sector.
But you see,
I brought in the economic problem from the top. That, you see, in all fairness, we cannot divorce the current conversation from, one, value systems, and structurally, the economic systems that we run. if the woman, and see, they don't need the money merely because they want to boast of money,
Yeah.
but their real needs that you should complement a normal woman within a week. Most likely, if you eliminate the kojos who can buy big shoes and proper more expensive ones. A normal woman.
Don't set me up for you.
Hello, my friend.
As a target.
So, but you get the point. A normal woman will spend more than a normal man under very circumstances, similar ones. From hair, straight to nails, straight to the clothing and everything.
Is that an assumption or is that reality?
I actually feel it's reality.
It's reality.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the point really is. So it's not as if they do. There are some people who are just flamboyant, who have a certain very extremely high standard. We have built a value system where we are not sure whether the man is head and provider entirely, or head or sometimes provider, or sometimes head or sometimes provider, or partner with somebody in the same role. It comes with economic value. When we make economic value the most important determinant, you are saying that he has money, so he's head. He has money, so he's everything. Everything starts and ends with him. So now the determination of this woman is how much money should be the lowest for you to be head. Not for you to be in a partnership with anybody.
Yeah.
Did you get my point?
Yeah.
Because you say that you are insisting in a patriarchal society that you are head by all standards and qualifications, even if you don't qualify. Did you get my point? So if you want to really lead, it should come with a certain level of competence criteria.
That's right.
But if we're just like classmates, became lovers, became what they call it, partners,
That's a difference.
you think about that way. In that case, how then? Because you might be paid in a similar bracket, or if you want to be paid slightly, the woman might be paid higher than your very good self.
Yeah.
She will not expect you to be in an extremely high bracket because she feels that she has a partner and she's engaging.
Of course.
But if you brought yourself with all the fanciful things that comes with manhood in a part of the world, backing others, insisting on some specific wasting cost of service, if those are your demands, then you should meet the bill. But
So the question is, the bill,
Yes.
is it affordable? That's the whole point of the conversation.
yeah, it should not be affordable
Now,
to most people.
It should not be affordable to most people.
Yes,
then
because
you are trying to say that women should
no,
not get.
I'm saying that is the
most
role you
women
want
should
to
not
play.
have partners.
No, yes, I'm saying that the role you want to play. The woman is setting for an ideal picture in mind.
Look,
It's not as if you.
you said something earlier. You said that a woman on her own to maintain herself spends quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, I asked whether that was reality, and I'll be interested in hearing the views of our listeners as well. What do they think is the reality of the Ghanaian woman when she's on her own, sponsoring herself? Does she spend the same amounts that she would spend if there was a man footing some of her bills? Is it the same? Is it that she herself now buys first class tickets to travel? She herself buys, Christian Louboutin shoes. She herself buys Peruvian hair when she's on her own. So if a man comes, he just has to come and meet or exceed that standard. Or when they are on their own, do they live at the barest minimum until a man comes along and then the bill is given to him? Because you see, these days when we describe an independent woman, look, a woman who is renting a chamber and hall, paying her own bills, going to work, coming back, taking trotro, buying her own foodstuffs, cooking, not depending on anyone, is described as an independent woman.
Yeah.
A man living to that same standard is not described as an independent man. He's described as a poor man. You see what I mean? So the question is this: is it that women are already spending a fortune on themselves, and so when you come into their relationship, you have to come and do the same?
I know
Or
I am.
is it that there are exceptions?
Yeah.
Or is it that now we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll open the phone lines. But I just want to read a part of Ikuya Konto's response just before we go. Ikuya said, Kojo, isn't this peer pressure on some men? No income, no date. Some of our brothers are lazy though. So I understand this. We need to put pressure on them sometimes to help them grow and be fruitful. Personally, I believe relationships are 50-50. My monthly expenses total £2,560, including a mortgage. So I definitely will marry a man who can afford at least half of this monthly expense and still have a little to save up for hard days ahead. So Equia Contour's 50-50 is hair bills.
Yeah.
Splitting
So what
hair
about the
bills.
man's bills? You should also split the man's bills.
A good question. Now, Venice, somebody has taken you off the market. But if you were advising your sister on the minimum a guy should have before he dates her, what figure would you?
Kojo, I think you may not like my answer, but I would not look at how much that person earns, but how much that person is willing to share. Okay. Because even if you earn 10,000 CDs and you are chisel, Charlie, and you're
Okay.
and if you earn 1,500 or 2,000 or 3,000 and you're willing to part with, a fair amount of that, that makes sense to me.
Then let's assume that this guy meets all the other qualifying criteria to date. Let's assume that he is kind and giving and loving and all the other things are there. All we want to know is how much he must earn in order for his generosity and all of that to meet the standards for your sister.
Oh, now you're asking me to answer a question for my sister. You ask me.
Okay, for you. For you. Let's turn back the clock a few years. What would the answer be?
3,000 yen, yes, you. 3,000 yen, yes,
So like how much?
So you're talking about someone you're in a relationship with
No,
or
you're
married
married.
to?
No, you're not.
Oh, in a
Someone
relationship,
you're
okay. Then 3,000 is okay. I would agree with majority of the ladies.
Will you be prepared to marry a man with 3,000 Ghana cedis?
But we are talking about relationship.
No, but
Hoping
now,
that
I'm moving.
But the relationship is a step to the
Question
next
step
one.
to
Why are you making it look like they are
dating.
divorced?
Relationship.
Oh, by the way, I thought you were my friend.
Yes, all the time. But this one,
Would you?
Well, that's a tricky one. 3,000 in today's Ghana
and twice me.
is hard. Oh,
So
that person but they have.
So in reality, what this would mean is that most men today should not be getting married. They're not ready
They have
yet.
no business.
And the calculations I'm doing here, I'm even adding my salary to it too. But still at 3,000
In fact, so
it's problematic.
so in many ways,
But you see, Kojo, the other thing too is we are different people with different tastes, with different costs attached to us. So for
Different
somebody,
departments.
oh no, but we have to be honest. I mean, that's the reality of. I remember when he was quoting Machiavelli and all that. I was listening to you guys on my way to work. So the truth is, for somebody, 3,000 is very realistic, but for another person, it's not. Considering the many other things you have to cater for. If you had one child, that's different. If you had 3 children, that's another level. I was telling someone recently that, if you were single and you were earning this much, and I was referring to how much the person earns, it was a lot of money. You have one child and you begin to realize, no, this is not enough. And then you have a second, and you're like, Charlie, I'm draining. I need an extra source of income. So it also depends on what your taste and your preferences are and what your dream as an individual is. Someone is moving from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. Another person thinks, no, I want to move from a 2 to a 4. So his taste, his preferences, all these things matter.
Well, talking that one, a bit of advice that David Maxfuga gave me yesterday. He says, my brother, you don't need 4 bedrooms for anything. The children, they will go. So 2 bedrooms, you and your wife, let them stay in the other one. But that's just by the way.
If you had 5 children, all of them want to Why? People like large families and they can afford it.
No
problem. But
we have told, in fact, we are doing population planning for a very long time. We have tried to reduce the numbers, and we are still within the 3 to.
Some of us are used to large families. That's how
You
we
see,
survive. That's our ecosystem.
there's something. Our people say something. I'll say it in Tree, and Kojo and Raymond help me with interpretation. Yes, sika ne treni edine. Sika. Unya sika. Ono nebe troni odine.
money dictates what you should do with it.
Yeah. Right. You see? So it is true. You're talking about, live within your means. The moment you get small money, your taste will change.
But I spoke about taste and preferences.
Yes, they will change. But you see, the reality today is that even if you work, and that for me is the reason this is very important. If you work so hard, you do back, along the line somewhere, non-communicable diseases you go and get high blood pressure.
Exactly.
You get hypertension.
You're right.
And you are getting stroke.
Yeah.
Today the young men are young men are dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very
and let me just chip this in.
Too many jobs.
You know, we recently did a story about the suicide rates, and about 60% men. And to be honest, and I say this is not the first time I'm saying this. Society puts a lot of pressure on you guys, and I appreciate men who are working hard. This morning, I mean, if you're a woman like me, just sit back and look at all the sacrifices and just appreciate your man. Because sometimes, look, we need to be real about it. The pressure is coming from extended family, it's coming from other colleagues, you know, high school friends who couldn't make it. Guys, the pressure is a lot, and
Too
I
much.
respect hard-working Ghanaian men who are doing so much
Can you
to
hear the
keep
applause in
you
there?
know,
The
voice are
to keep
applause.
their homes. Look, I look. You are doing well, Ghanaian men. We thank you, and I know that there are very few who aren't pulling their weights, but the majority of you are trying very hard, and we appreciate you.
I think we have arrived at the real reason why I wanted us to have this conversation.
Shadow clap for us.
No, not so that they'll clap for us, but so that it would be highlighted just what it takes to do something as basic as having a relationship in
Yeah.
this country today.
Why didn't
It's
I-
always been hard. It's
The cost
the
arrangement.
cost arrangement. If I was in the car, I would have
Yeah,
taken the car.
it's always been hard,
Yeah.
as you know, Bernice has highlighted so clearly. But today it's harder than ever. The expectations are high, as you have heard, and the expectations are not out of malice or greed. Things cost money.
Yeah.
Okay, so women are telling you, like, look, if you're going to fit into my life, it's going to cost you. You
And
have to be
inflation is
earning at
45%.
least this much, right?
Inflation.
So these are realities, and Bernice has really brought home that reality for us. Yet somehow men are surviving. Somehow the average Ghanaian man is managing to meet these obligations and stay sane. How they are doing it, I don't know. But we are expecting things to get even harder. IMF no man yerukuma. Right? Once we are now about to enter that program, which will come with all the conditionalities that will really tighten our belts and cut off the fat. How will men survive? How will women survive? But today we are focusing on men because of the relationship angle of the conversation. How will men survive and meet their obligations and responsibilities?
The Michael
Hug a
Sander,
man today.
no, Michael Sander wrote about the things that money should not have a role to play in. Perhaps, I mean, and it should be very possible for dates, for example, should involve less cost.
And maybe
So-
like it's done elsewhere. People
Yes.
should understand that
A
this is
walk
the
in the
two of
park
us.
and all of the other
Partnership.
yes, and all of the other things come into play. Kojo, I say I've sat in the room where a man
Let a boy take you for a walk in the park, and then some other guy comes along and carries her on a holiday to Safari Valley, and see who wins.
the devils are playing that.
Surprised,
It's not always the
Surprised.
case.
Well,
People are exceptions, so
Yeah.
people are exceptions.
No, I don't think we are. So to answer your question about how men survive, I think that we must begin to rethink how society has been structured and the burden that has been placed so much on men.
Yeah.
And
Black
begin
man's
to
burden.
and begin to change things. Okay, so like you're saying, if we go out for a dinner or something, and you know, I'm not saying the man should say for half bra, I mean for half bra, but if you're somebody who understands the times, and your husband, for example, used to take you to a certain 5-star hotel, and he can't afford it now. I mean, realistically, you should understand that the times are hard.
Realistically,
Exactly.
stay in the house and cook together is even more romantic.
In this Send Mumu era.
Yes.
No, you were the,
Okay.
She says husband, so stay in the house and cook together.
Ayo.
Yeah,
Listen, I think
There are
the girls that you
alternative ways.
attract are very dodgy.
No, it's not the girls I attract. It's the girls that exist.
Joyce,
It's the girls that exist. I mean,
Hey,
exist in your world.
no, in the world. In the world.
you have no right to
Go-
mention any
go to-
Bye bye. I'm going.
So listen, it's about time we heard from you. So call us. We're asking how affordable are relationships in 2023 here in Ghana. How much should a man earn before he can comfortably date a Ghanaian woman? And you can call us 0302 216 541 055 1111 997. BK is here in Accra. BK, good morning.
Kojo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ghana way I tell you, Obia one level. Everybody is level.
That's right.
If you try to date a woman above your level, that's why you have problems. But if you stay within your level or below your level, you won't have problems. You come to Dima, you see somebody making less than 3,000, you have 2 wives.
Hey.
But that is a level.
That's right.
So sometimes we have to be very cautious about this. And many times women, they don't know what they want in the first place. That's my take.
Thank you, BK. Maps, you didn't say to the last one. Thank you for calling us, BK. You can call us to 0302-216-541, 055-111-997. Majority of the respondents to our question said that a man should earn a minimum of 3,000 Ghana cedis to date them.
Which was some messages here, and this one says, I lived in a 12 by 12 feet room in Medina, Libya quarters and was earning 390 Ghana cedis a month. She lived in a mansion at Ajingano. She would spend almost the entire day with me at my ghetto. She believed in my capabilities and care. She didn't look at how much I had. She focused on me. This was in 2011. We're still very good friends today. I was hoping it would end up we are happily married together.
No, they are friends.
Still friends.
He has been friend zoned for
and this one says, are you guys asking for what should be given to the woman monthly or what the guy earns? 3,000 for a woman can't do much. And how much should the guy chop? His friends are also there. And this one says, Masa, I'm a journalist and I earn 1,500 after working for 10 years. And I'm not even thinking about dating a woman. Marriage is out of the question. It is reality. Benes is right. But this one says, but Winston, I thought they say what a man can do, a woman can do better. Doesn't that include income or earnings? KO from Danceman. KO. Be careful.
All right. Christian is in Adidome. Sorry. Christian, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I'm following discussion on air.
Yes, go ahead.
And it's getting very interesting anyway. But I think that even for a 3,000 cities anywhere today, it's still very low. But like the previous caller said, I think that the issue has to be with you, the woman talking about 3,000 cities. What are you also bringing on board? You see? So I like the contribution one person made in the studio that you can get married or be in a relationship when you're not very popular. Because you see, when you become popular, people begin to see you in a different light than even you see yourself. I started working and earning less than 2,000 cedis. Okay, but I knew what I wanted to do for myself, and so I was able to do things that today, if you had met me at 2,000 cedis then, you wouldn't have any hope in me. So I think that you, the woman, you, the lady, should be thinking about what you can bring on board, what you can help that man do with the amount of money that he is earning at the time that you have met him, and see how you can plan your life ahead. But as for the money, I tell you, even if you earn 5,000 cedis, I am sure that with the kind of expectations that are on us today, 5,000 cedis, even for me, as if I were to be a woman, would not even be enough for me. It is what we plan together, what we're going to achieve together, with the amount we have in hand. I think that we can start something together as a relationship.
Thank you, Christian. Regards to everyone in Atidome. Let's talk to Ni, who is at Asylum Down. Ni, good morning. Hello, Ni.
Ni Tete.
Do we have Ni on the line?
Oh, Ni Tete. Oh.
I don't think we have Ni, right? Okay. Listen, you can call us 0302-216-541, 055-111-997. Our translator Maps is here to greet you in whichever language is appropriate.
That's right.
So give us a call, and the question is simple: can the average Ghanaian man afford to date the average Ghanaian woman?
So, in conclusion,
hey, you want to conclude before we finish the call?
Per se, but like I'm just saying that it's lifestyle. Like the first caller, BK said that levels. Yeah, so it depends on your level, dates within your level, and then you'll be fine. Like, don't stress yourself.
I guess the question is, are there any men existing in the minimum level of the Ghanaian woman? That's what we want to find out.
That's another question.
That's what
it's
we
like
want
a car.
to find out.
If you are buying a Range Rover, can you fuel that Range Rover? If you're buying an Elantra, you know, can you fuel that Elantra? Picanto, Chale? It's the same with women. Yeah.
So yes, can you fuel her? Claude is in Tema. Hi, Claude. Good morning.
Well, Kojo, good morning. How you doing?
Not bad, brother. Good to hear from you.
Yes. There's an account proverb, a name of Bimpona chassis. You know, so if you are dating somebody and you are looking at those parameters, you may be deceived. Because people compare what they see in their parents and other people and think that is how they started. But some started very small, they work together, and then they build a future. And a woman is always a helpmate, coming to support the man to make a family, not an employee to be paid a certain amount of money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claude. All right, let's go to Winneba. Hi, Nanayao. Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry,
Yeah, you have to
sorry.
turn off your radio, Nanayao. There's
Sorry.
massive feedback. Turn it off.
Yeah,
Can you hear
hello,
me?
good now?
Yes, perfect. Go ahead, Nanayao.
You know, I don't know how the study was made and how the ladies came up with the minimum of 3,000. But, you know, if you're a lady and then you are jobless, sorry to say, 3,000 will be quite low for you. But if you are earning something as an average Ghanaian lady, I don't know, a guy earning 3,000 should be bad, you know. It should be good. But the thing is that a lot of ladies nowadays have inflated their value seriously because of social media. They think they deserve more than something. And studies have made it clear that because of how things are going, a lot of women are going to be single in about 10 or 20 years to come. Because they think they deserve heaven. But that's not how it should be. If you are earning something like, and a guy is earning 3,000, you bring 1,500 or even 2,000. Come on. It should be manageable. I don't know how things are, you know, going out of way. I don't know.
Interesting. Thank you, Nanayao. He says women have inflated their value. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Call us. Joanna is in Dansuman. Hi, Joanna.
Good, Kojo.
Yeah, our first female caller. Can't wait to hear your views.
Kojo,
Yeah.
this morning, this issue you brought is not easy. But all the time you mention that women are on board of money. So you have to know that not all of them are like that. But what I know is some men too are gold diggers. They come in for what you have, not what they are bringing in. So when you pretend that, oh, today you don't have anything on you to see whether this man can help you, this man will say, that's all. That's the only thing the man can only help you with. So me, I look at all those men in my brain. When I see that you can't give me 2,000, but you want my 2,000 to give it to you, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Patrick is in Kaswa. Hi, Patrick. Good morning.
Morning, Kojo.
Thanks for calling, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. So just to try and answer your question directly, if you are looking at the average man who has just landed on a job, starting life, and he's earning, let's say, 3,000. And if you, the woman, coming together with this man, or the man coming together with you, you are also earning 3,000. If only you are looking at the future, put your money together, you know what you are heading towards. Not looking at now. Definitely, there will be promotions in the life of the man, and things will get better. It's not about you, but you should look at, if you project your life that way, and you know that this relationship is heading towards something good in the future, then you understand each other. Everything will work perfectly, and not just looking at what a man is earning now and what he can part with now. You understand? Yeah.
Okay.
So let's look at it that way. Definitely, money is not all there is. What we are heading towards is what we should look at first.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Thanks very much. Let's take one more call. This is Justice in Tema. Hi, Justice.
Yo,
Charlie,
good
how are we?
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, we are doing well. We are doing well, Mr. Man.
We thank God. Charlie, what's on your mind?
Oh, it's a very educative program.
Mm.
But we should remind ourselves, our fathers and our grandfathers didn't base on salary to take care of this generation. So if it happens that we are going to depend on salary, you should even check the labor law. How much does it pay? And before you get to 3,000, then which means you are a supervisor in the company. If you have a supervisor in the company, I don't think he doesn't have a wife. Before you get to supervisor level, you already have a wife. So you started from somewhere. You started from 1,005 before you get to the half there. So they should not jump conclusion that when you come out now, you get a job, then you are 3,000. You have to start from 500, 600, 700. So it takes 10 years to get to 3,000. So they should come down. They should come down and help us move. We can do it together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Justice, thank you. Thank you very much.